What's up, everyone? Gids here for another TFT video, and today I'm going to help you guys to reach higher ranks because 3 days ago, I think, 3 days ago, I've reached Master and stopped playing because this game gets too boring. So I don't want to really grind for the games, but yeah, like within a span of how many days is this? 3 days, 4 days, I was able to get to Master in around 5 games per day. And I'm going to share to you guys how to get to that point with just mastering 4 comps, and those 4 comps are what I use. So stick around if you want to hit higher ranks and be more consistent in your top 4s because if you look at my games, this is all top 4s. You have a few that's 5th and 7th here, but what's important is that most of your games are always finishing top 4, and that way you're always guaranteed to be climbing and not really going back down and have to make up for those lost games. Okay, so let's go. Alright, first up, again, let's take a look at the match history over here. You can see top champions I have. It's going to be very simple. The strategies that I am employing here is just going to be around the AP carries. Sometimes we get the AD carries, and that's usually going to let you play Aphelios. And yeah, this is going to be my preferred openers right here. So we have the double bruisers. I always love taking these two in, Alistar and Mundo. Alistar is very much the best tank early game if you give him items over Mundo first. So yeah, always Alistar. And then AP carries are Zyra, Seraphine. So if you can actually get these 4 in your opener at your level 4, this is going to be very, very strong. Zyra and Seraphine, definitely very good users or item holders for items for the brand comp. And also, even with the Annie items, they're also pretty good with using those. Okay, so this is going to be really, really strong for them. If you have blue buff, actually, if you just have blue buff, then Morgana, usually always the best holder for the blue buff card breaker. So Morgana gives you the direction towards Vex. Okay, so these are like the good openers. For AD, however, we have Nitro over here. So I usually prefer Nitro opener with this one. So you have your AD items, of course. You have Infinity Edge and Gwinsus. Of course, this can still transition into the Twisted Fate plus what you call this, Draven comp, but I usually just prefer going fast 8 every single game. Every single game, all my games going level 6 at 3-2, going level 7 at 3-5 or 3-7, and then going level 8 on 4-2, rolling down, fighting a board. Okay, that's just basically the whole strategy that we are doing, and we'll get into the specifics of team building later on. Okay, another good opener is going to be these 3 right here. Where is this guy and then this guy? This is another opener for AD comp, right? So it's just going to be Vayne if you have Vayne and you have Rage Blade, and you can definitely have Vayne hold those items. Now, if you see yourself being contested with Aphelios, then you're going to have to pivot to the MF plus Zeri board, which is kind of okay, but it can't top 4. I never actually played it. Look at my match history. There's nothing like that. It's just mostly Samira Amp, Annie Amp, and what do you call this? Brand. We have a few Vexes here, and of course Aphelios. So again, these are the four main things or 4 main comps that I just used and just rotated based on what is given to me on stage 2-1. All the augments that I usually go for are the ones that give you XP. So usually it's Lamin. I love this one. Epoch is okay. Econ augments. Usually when it's prismatic, if you are offered econ augments, then I would go for those ones. Right? So anything that helps you with leveling up to 8 much faster than usual. Okay? So that's pretty much it for the openers here. Next, we have the board specifically. So this is your level 8 board for the Aphelios board. So you want to get 2-star Leona, 2-star Aphelios, or 2-star Zaya. Item carriers, again, is either Jhin. Usually it's Jhin, but you can start off with, where is it? This guy. Kindred early game if you don't have Jhin, right? So you have Kindred carry the items, later on transfer it to Jhin, give it to Jinx, and then later on at stage 4-2 on your roll down, transition it onto Aphelios and Zaya. Okay? You want double Rage Blade on Aphelios as much as possible, but if double Rage Blade is hard to hit, then just 2 attack speed items, 1 Rage Blade, another attack speed item, and then a Gun Blade. That should be good enough to be able to sustain your Leona in front. So any tank items on Leona as well is really good to help her survive, because you want your front line to survive as long as possible for this one. Again, basic guidelines on going to level 9. If you have more than 70 HP, you don't have to 2-star everything. If you have more than 70 HP, you have a 2-star front line, 2-star back line. That should be good enough with 3 items, 3 items. Okay? 1-starring one of these guys is, or 1-star Saya, 1-star Aphelios is okay as long as you have the other guy 2-starred. Alright, and then try to hit the other one at level 9. Level 9, you just want another tank in here. Usually the best tanks are going to be Kobuko, Zac. Garen is also okay. If you want to, you can have Aurora in here as well and then pull in a Zac. Okay, you don't really want another backline here with Urgot, but if that's your options, then okay, that's fine, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it for this comp. Very simple to play, but very, very contested as well. I'm not gonna show you the board for the MF and Zeri because I never really played it, so I can't show you something and teach you something that I don't even know how to use. So yeah. Next up, very consistent one here, very contested as well. There's almost always one person going for this comp. It's going to be 7th Street Demon. Usually your go, again, it's the same principle here with Aphelios, right? So if you're playing comps that have almost the same way to play, it's going to be helpful for you to become more consistent because the strategy is almost the same, right? You always want to play the strongest board. You always want to hit at level 8, okay? Or roll down level 8 for 2. If you can do it at 4-1 while no one's rolling for the units yet, if you see yourself contested, then roll at 4-1. Get the units first before your enemy. So if you get lucky 4-8, getting a Kobuko 1 or Samira 1, then you're kind of set, okay? Requirements to go level 8 again, or level 9, is Nico 2 with 3 items and Brand 2 with 3 items. Ziggs 2, having a Ziggs 2 plus a Brand 1 is going to be kind of tough because Ziggs here is actually not going to be carrying, because Ziggs is supposed to be just carrying your utility items, but you can have him hold the Brand items while you're waiting for Brand 2. And yeah, that should still be okay for you to go to level 9 if you have a Ziggs 2 and a Brand 1. But ideally, Brand 2, Nico 2 plus 7 Street Demon, this is good enough to go to level 9. You don't have Samira, just put in Rengar, items on Jinx, transfer Jinx items into Samira later on. Jinx is actually very, very good already at level 8 if you don't have Samira because she does a lot of damage anyway as well. Okay? Next up, another one of my favorites here is just 5 amp. So don't ever try to drop 5 amp. This comp needs 5 amp. Okay, so how many units is this? This is 8 units. So if you want to put in an extra unit at level 9, go ahead and do so. But never ever drop 5 amp. Could be Viego here actually. It could be Viego for your final unit at level 9. But never drop 5 amp for this comp because you get weaker if you drop 5 amp. 5 amp is actually very important. So never drop the Nidalee or the Naafiri in this comp. Okay? Again, same concept. Roll at 4-2. Try to find the Annie 2, Nico 2. Problem with this comp is that Nico is going to be very contested. Alright? So that's your only biggest problem. So if you have a 2-star 3-cost that can tank like a Mordekaiser, might be worth it to itemize them for a bit, or maybe even a Gragas 2 might be okay for them to stay in the board for a little bit until you find a Nico 2 and an Annie 2. Okay? Finding a Samira 1 at level 8 is so good because that just snowballs you out of the way. 4-2 is going to be very, very easy. Stage 5, you'll be able to get to level 9 so much easier. Okay, because it activates your 5 amp and 5 amp is super strong for this comp once you activate 5 amp. Okay, lastly is going to be Vex Flex. So usually you don't actually have set units in this one. You just play what you hit. Okay, get out. Okay, so this is like the core. This is the core 5 units for the comp. Sejuani 2, Vex 2, Mordekaiser 2, Varus 2, okay? Varus is your item holder or utility item holder. Vex, of course, the main carry, and then Sejani, your main tank. Okay? So again, that was the sample board right there. So we have Renekton, you have Kobuko, and then Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath plus this guy. Where's Cho'Gath. Right? This is a sample board, but you can always get away with not having Kobuko in here, right? Not having Cho'Gath, not having Urgot. You can have Aurora in here and then have Dynamo with Morgana. Okay. You have Karen as well to give you extra traits. Zac. Okay. So this is super flexible. So whichever 5 costs that you hit, just put them in here. And again, there's your core center. Again, same concept. Very simple. Just roll for 2, level 8. Try to hit Sejuani 2. Try to hit Vex 2. And you should be able to go 9. Okay. So again, the concept here is just always playing the strongest board available for you during the early stages. Again, these are my recommendations. Good tanks during the mid game are Gragas, Mordekaiser. All right. Good AP carries. We have Yumi right here. Usually, you also have Veigar as a good item holder for any of the comps, AP comps later on. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, specific questions for any of the comps, let me know in the comments below. I'll try to help you out. But for now, that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. GG's.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the